this video, we'll be talking about what variables are. What are variables? Well, there's a simple way. It's just a letter. But that's not specific enough. This letter will be used in math. Probably an equation that looks something like this. And you may be thinking, if you haven't seen this before, you may be thinking like, what? The letter isn't a number? Well, the letter is what is like a placeholder that they use for an unknown value. The actual definition is something like mathematical placeholder for an unknown value in an equation. I don't know. Something that was close to what I said. And no, I did not get that off of Wikipedia. But anyway, so variables are used in simple equations, and they can go on all the way to very complex equations. They can go all the way to something like a plus 7 equals 3 divided by 4 plus 900,571 divided by 2. Yeah, it could go to something like that. But variables, no matter what, are always used to stand for some unknown equation that you don't really know unless you solve this. So let's do a simple equation with this. You know what? Let's just solve this one. So 5 plus a equals 7. Well, you could already think, what are the possible values that a could stand for? You may be thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, yeah, that is a pretty good way to go for it if it's a very simple equation like this. If it's a hard equation like this, you need to go into something way different. But, you know, this equation is pretty easy. You could just take random values. You already know 5 plus 2 is 7, so a equals to 2. But what happens if you get into a complex, more complex type of situation or equation? Well, I'll tell you what happens. So let's say we have the equation x times, in case you didn't know, that is a multiplication sign, x times 4 equals 32 divided by 2 plus 2 over 1 minus 2 over 1. Well, you can just take this into simply. You can just take this simply. You already know that 2 over 1 minus 2 over 1 is 0. So the only thing that you have left is x times 4 equals 32 over 2 plus 0. Well, you can just cancel out the plus 0. You don't really need it. So you're left with x times 4 equals 32 over 2. Now what you need to do is simplify this 32 over 2. So what you would do is literally 32 divided by 2. 2 goes into 3 one time. 3 minus 2 is 1. Bring down the 2. 2 times what equals 12? 6. So you get 16. And what times 4 equals 16? Well, you could just think of it simply. Put in random values. Plug in random numbers. 1 times 4 equals 4, so that doesn't work. 1's crossed out. 2 times 4 is 8, that's crossed out. 3 times 4 is 12, that's crossed out. 4 times 4 is 16, so that's your answer. And that was just a little bit more complicated. But that's how you solve with variables. And that's really how all equations work once you get into algebra and pre-algebra.